folks, Cam here from Australia Kava Shop. We're going to be running a bunch of how to prepare kava tutorials to cover both kava newbies all the way through to seasoned pros. And today we're going to start with stripping it right back to basics to the traditional kava prep method. Okay, so to get started, you're going to need a few basics. First of all, we're going to start with something to cleanse the palate, wash your mouth, whatever you want to call it, to have after your kava to take away that earthy taste, that sort of bitter taste. I'm going to be using a mandarin or orange. A mixing bowl. Now we're using a traditional tanoa today, not a Fiji one, a Vanuatu one, but we're compensating that by using a Fijian ladle with a little billow, what they call billow or coconut shell at the end. A serving shell, of course, you want to go drink out of something. Again, using a Vanuatu coconut shell, just there. Of course, you're going to need your kava powder. In this case, we're using that fantastic all-rounder from Vanuatu Borogu, big favourite at our end and with a lot of our customers. Links below on how to purchase one. A straining bag, really handy. If you haven't got a straining bag, don't worry about it. You can use a set of stockings, that's fine. A measuring device, in this case we love the tablespoons on a per serve basis. A little bit more on that in a second. Some warm water. We're going to cover dimensions and ratios and all that sort of stuff in a little bit. And you're probably wondering what's going on here. Well, you know, optional, but a speaker or your mobile phone with some music. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, now look, if you're familiar with the Australia Kava Shop YouTube channel and our videos, you'll know that I normally wear my white Australian Kava Shop t-shirt. I'm going to cover 4 important key areas of mixing in the traditional method. And the very first one is don't wear a white t-shirt, all right? If you're as clumsy as me, invariably you're going to splash a bit of kava juice around and it's never a good look on a white t-shirt. That's the reason I've gone for this sort of mottled light green look, because if I spill a bit of kava on, it's not going to make any difference. Now the second important point, okay, yeah, obviously the t-shirt's not vital, but it's sort of important. The second important point is the water, and most importantly the temperature of the water that you're going to be using. The active ingredient in kava is it's called kava lactones, or the kava lactones. They're the sort of feel-good component of kava that makes it, you know, pleasurable, and the effect pleasurable to drink. To maximize releasing those kava lactones during the extraction and squeezing process, warm water works better than cold water, up to a point. Okay, really important here. Any water temperature over 55 degrees will start causing kava lactone degradation, which means you're basically preparing muddy water without any effect. So warm water, a little bit above lukewarm, warm to touch but not excessive in any way. You're smart enough to figure that out. You don't need a thermometer to test it. Okay, so as mentioned, we're using the Borogu today, which is a Vanuatu Cultivar, really popular in Vanuatu throughout all the kava bars, grown all through the islands and much loved, I guess. It's got a really nice balance to it. Highly recommended if you're just starting out in kava, to get a sort of a good understanding of what kava and kava effects are like. Now, this method is applicable to any kava, of course, and it's worth noting quickly as the third point in that people often consider Vanuatu kava stronger or claim that it's stronger than Fiji kava. That's not the case, okay? The difference is in the kava culture and how people drink kava in the two countries. So in Fiji, it's more of a tradition of using more water, so not as potent per serve, but drinking over a longer period of time. In Vanuatu, it's more about more concentrated, so less water, drinking over a shorter period of time, and obviously consuming less in overall bulk. We're going to cover water ratios in a minute and give you like a little clip art that you can sort of use to gauge how much water depending on the strength you're after and the social occasion. relation to what we're going to be doing today, as per the little clip art you've just seen, we're going to be doing a Vanuatu standard strength. So not super concentrated, just a run-of-the-mill strength that you would get at a normal kava bar over there. And the ratio for that works out at about 1 part kava to 5 parts water, okay? And we're going to be using 10 grams per serve, all right? So I'm going to have 3 serves. Larpy's going to be coming over for a few shells after the shoot. So I'm guessing he's going to have at least 3. So I'm going to use 60 grams of kava at the 5x1, which means 300 mils of warm water. Again, purely up to what you like from your kava. We would recommend, if you're starting out in kava as a newbie, try the standard Vanuatu ratio at 5:1 when it's just you. If you're having friends over and you want to be sitting around drinking kava for 3 or 4 hours, push out the water ratio to the Fiji levels. It means no one will, your guests won't be falling asleep within an hour, and they'll be able to comfortably drink kava for a longer time. Okay, let's get into it. I'm really excited. Oh, sorry, one more thing. The 4th point. What's going on here? Okay, speaker or your mobile device, whatever it is that plays music. The preparation time is about 10 minutes. It's a really good time to decompress. I sound like almost hippie-ish there.
Look, our microphone dropped out there. Look, you get my point. You've got 10 minutes here of squeezing time. Put on 10 minutes of music, 3 of your favourite songs. I'm really getting into the MC5 live, which, subsequently is a 10-minute long clip, so it's a perfect length. And it's pretty full on. So I'm pumped, I'm squeezing hard, I'm getting the most out of my kava listening to the MC5 rock out back in 1970. Man, great concert. Wish I was there. Let's get started. Okay, so we have our Borogu and a tablespoon. Now we've found that a just slightly heaped tablespoon of kava powder clocks in at around about 10 grams, give or take. So in this case, as discussed, we're going to do 6 servings, so 60 grams, 6 slightly heaped tablespoons. Once done, seal off your bag. Just confirm that there's no loose bits floating around. Give your bag a shake. And then get your 300 mils of water and pour it on in. Most of the straining bags have a drawstring. Pull that tight, or if you're using a stocking, just make a little knot at the end, I guess. Now here we go, squeezing for 10 minutes. Really give it to it here. The more effort you put in here, the stronger your brew will be. Now once done, or at the 10 minutes is up, squeeze every last remaining drop of water as physically possible out of your straining bag. This is where the really high levels of concentrated kava lactones can be, so it's worth putting in that extra bit of effort. Think of it like going to the gym. I don't know, whatever it takes. Okay, once done, empty your leftover kava, or used kava, in the bin. Give your bag a quick wash. You'll notice after a few uses, you'll see some yellowy residual stuff. That's kava lactones on the bag.
Okay, so 10 minutes later, we've given it a really good squeeze. You'll notice on there the Borogu has a really nice balanced colour to it. The waka is normally very dark when you finish squeezing. Mellow and Kelai a little bit lighter. And if you're looking at Luwina stump, we don't sell it, but it'll be even creamier than that. That nice tan colour's perfect. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but there's like an oily film on top, and that's the kava lactones. That's the good stuff. And this is where it gets really important, is you need to, every time you serve your kava, grab your ladle and give it a quick stir before you serve. Now, it wouldn't be an Australia Kava Shop video without a shout out. This billow ladle was given to us by Zurin and Atish from Cultivar Kava. Love you guys, they're our Fiji partners, they're the best, they're great. Also, Savannah, she's off camera, but she prepped the oranges. And look, this is a bit of a hark back, I didn't mention this earlier, to the old Kava Emporium days. Be quiet, speaker. Yeah, shout out to James, the Kava Doc, I know you're watching. Okay, let's get into it. Quick stir, good serve. Okay, and the last shout out to Koffel, my good mate over in Vanuatu. Mubbles, mubbles. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Next couple of days, we're going to be doing a contemporary version of this. This is fantastic, it's the traditional way. The contemporary version takes a little extra steps, but we'll get you an even stronger brew. As always, that was a heap of fun. Please like and subscribe.